You see, sometimes I do think that most of the men of God of nowadays, they are not highly spiritual at all. Because before you can speak publicly about calling, you should understand what calling is all about. If you are being called, you will understand that God is not playing with those that were being called by Him. Now, for Sunday, Adelaja to tell the public that Pastor Adeboye Kumuyi Oyedepo was not being called by God, and Olukoya was not being called by God, that they are prophets of that he is the prophet of Elijah, and they are the prophets of Baal. You know what happened to the prophet of Baal in the scripture? Now Elijah was being called by God. The prophet of Baal, they are worshiping Baal, their father. Now this man of God has been extended for years, and we can see if you are highly spiritual and you pray. I prayed one day that I wanted to know those prophets or the pastor that God really called, and God told me that He called Adeboye, He called Oyedepo, He called Kumuyi. Let me tell you this: God really called them. If any one of them now made a mistake, that doesn't mean that they were not being called by God. That doesn't mean that they are prophet of Baal. They are man of the living God. The living God was the one that called them. Because as a prophet or as a pastor, that doesn't mean you made any mistake. You are not God. We can't compare the men of God with God. Though God asks us to live an holy life, and that is why living an holy life is what will take us to the kingdom of God. And we should pray for the grace, because Paul apostle said the grace of God is sufficient for us. Now when you pray for the grace, God will make you to live an holy life, and anything that will come out from your mouth will be from God. Now for him to say that, I believe you should go back to God. If truly he's serving the living God, you should go back to that living God. That God, are you the one that called them? Because he made a big mistake. Let me tell you one thing: if you want to correct, I've said it before, correct. If you want to advise, but don't attack the men that God really called. God called them. It is because of what have happened in the past. Let me tell you this: Pastor Oyedepo said 4 years ago that this man will emerge, this one will not emerge. Fine. He made that mistake, and if truly you are a man of God, you can go to him and tell him, sir, before you say anything to the public, ask from God. Because that 4 years ago, I asked from the Lord, and God told me the person that is going to win that election. And God did according to his word, because I asked from God. Now, most men of God are not hearing from God now. They will just come out and tell you, this is what God said. That was the mistake. But you don't need such a kind of statement that they are not being called by God. Because if they are truly being called by God, and you say they are not being called by God, definitely you also, you don't know what you are saying. That's number one. You lack that power to hear from God. That's number two. And then you talk rudely to the men of God. That's number three. You must understand that if you want to correct, you correct. If you want to advise, you advise. Not attacking the men of God that you are not being called by God. In the scripture, there are some men of God that made mistakes. That doesn't mean that God was not the one that called them. Saul, as a king, God was the one that appointed him as a king. But he made a mistake. Do you understand now? Now, you cannot come out and tell me that Saul was not called by God because he made a mistake. So saying that is a slap in the spiritual realms. And I believe you should go back to God. Number one, to ask for forgiveness of sin. Number two, you should try as much as possible to say sorry to those men of God. And number three, you should be very careful of any statement we make, because God is going to judge us all.